Hello, everyone, and this is no longer the Dude Cast. We actually found some issues about that name, so we are the PlayStation Point. Also, the anagram is PSP.
Yay.
And I'm I'm Kuro, and with me today is Armando.
Hello.
So we're gonna start off with talking about PlayStation VR again, but this time with about the bundle info, and the pre-orders have finally opened. If you hadn't already noticed, they were on Amazon, and then they sold out, and now they're up on Amazon again. Other retailers such as GameStop, Best Buy. So clearly there is some sort of interest in PlayStation VR as it continually sells out. But the question is once people get it, will they like it? Because obviously news outlets like Kotaku have been trying it, and they're not quite used to it. They say that it's making them sick when they play like 5 hours continuously. So, what are your thoughts, Armando?
Well, that's to be expected because, to be honest, I don't think no one is really used to VR yet, of course, unless the people that created it, they're probably used to it, but not the regular consumers. But yeah, the pre-orders for PSVR went up. There's two bundles. There's a launch bundle that comes with a PlayStation camera and two Move controllers, and then just a regular bundle with just the PlayStation VR. I pre-ordered both of them.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to keep my options open just in case I wanted the launch bundle or just a regular one.
I mean, like, I don't even have the PlayStation 4 camera and I don't have a Move. Because I tried the Move back when they launched it, a little pop-up store in San Francisco, and I didn't really like it. And so I was like, I'll skip it. And now it's like, oh, you kind of need it. And I'm like, I did not invest into this.
Yeah.
So I don't. So they're kind of like, we have this option for you if you didn't already opt into our previous, like, iterations of hardware or accessories. Which is nice, but then it's like, do you really think they're gonna sell more of just, like, the headset? Because how many people do you really think already have a PlayStation Move and a PlayStation camera?
So that's the thing. I think most of the PlayStation 4 audience might have a PlayStation 4 camera just because you can stream and then just um put yourself in the stream if you stream on Twitch or other websites.
Or
Uh,
Ustream?
yeah, or Ustream, yeah. So that's the only reason why I think PlayStation 4 users might have a PlayStation 4 camera. About the Move, I don't think a lot of people have Moves unless they are like really hardcore PlayStation fans that want to try everything
Yeah.
out. I don't have the PlayStation Move. I have the PlayStation 4 camera. Um, so I don't know. I just went with the launch bundle just in case I wanted to get another PS4 and I'm like, oh, okay, I have an extra camera. I'll put on this one, or you know, just for that.
Well, I mean, like, the Move was good if you wanted to play, like, Okami HD on the PS3 with it, but, you don't have backwards compatibility for PS4, so it's like, well,
Yeah.
is it really worth it at that point? It's like, not particularly. I know someone who had it, but he can't find it. He's just like, I don't know where I put it, sort of thing. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's great.
So so good thing to know about the launch bundle or just the regular bundle. So okay, so for the PlayStation VR, you need the PlayStation 4 camera. Like you need it. It's mandatory. I'm not sure about the Move because I think you can just control it with the DualShock 4.
Yeah, I
Um,
think most people go with that.
yeah, but I mean, it's the Move will be optional in some games, might be required in some other games. Um, but so if you buy just the PlayStation VR by itself, that's gonna be $400. You could probably find the camera for like I think the
30
retail
or
price,
40 bucks on Amazon.
yeah, I think the retail price is like 50 or 60. So that's like
Yeah.
at least 350 there, and then the Move because you need two Move controllers, so that's gonna be another 40 or so. So at the end, you're still gonna be paying around $500. So yeah. But if you just
Which
want everything in a
is,
box, just go with the launch bundle.
yeah, because, like, otherwise, it's relatively cheaper compared to like the other VR competitors,
Hmm.
and it doesn't require as powerful as a computer. Like you just need a PlayStation 4 and you're good to go,
Yeah.
basically.
Hmm. Um, so I think the PlayStation launch bundle that comes with the PlayStation camera and the Move, I think it's sold out on Amazon, but I think it's available like everywhere else. So GameStop,
I
Walmart,
noticed they
Best Buy.
reopened on Amazon again, but like GameStop, Best Buy, Target, maybe
Yeah. So I think they never sold out. They never sold out. Just Amazon sold
they
out.
just no, like I think Amazon reopened orders again though for like a second shipment.
Oh yeah, yeah. So they did it a few days after we recorded like the first episode. They announced the launch bundle and then opened the pre-orders for that. Sold out pretty quick. Then I think it was like a week later, they opened another window for pre-orders, and that's where I got it. That's where I managed to pre-order it. And then today, when we recorded this on March 29th, they opened the pre-orders for the regular SKU, just the PlayStation VR, and I think it's
Yeah.
still up. I think it's still up on Amazon. But if you want the PlayStation VR launch bundle, you can just pre-order it at GameStop, Best Buy, or Target. They still have it up.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just pre-order on Amazon because you don't have to put anything now.
Yeah, like a lot of people use Amazon so much now. Like, if you're a student, you're paying for Prime. It's only
Yeah, that
like
too.
$50,
Yeah, that too.
and like that 2 day shipping really pay. Like, you get that back like with easily.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like it's worth paying for Amazon Prime because then it's like you can also have it sent to an Amazon locker if that's in your area.
Hmm. Hmm. And
So I
go ahead.
well, it's just kind of like I see people like buy from Amazon, and that's like it's good to go because Amazon has a pretty good like policy about like if like refunds and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Another reason that a lot of people just buy from Amazon is because in their states they don't get charged with taxes if they buy from Amazon like I do. So if I buy anything from Amazon, I don't pay taxes.
I do.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
California gets fucked.
Yeah. So um I'm excited for PlayStation VR. Just want to see what the future holds for that. Although I do have some concerns, and that's like my shameless plug for my editorial that I wrote on Blazekick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to try someone's out first before like I want to even put like invest in that because like I already have like invested so much in like my computer and like all my other hardware that I'm kind of like. And then I'm gonna be buying like more stuff for like my Wii U when I finally move in with my boyfriend. So I mean, like, that's just like, do I want to like pay for like a Surface for something, or do I want to play like get another system? And right now I'm kind of like,
Hmm.
not right now.
Yeah, because let's say the NX comes out this year, right? And if you're planning on
Mhm.
buying a PlayStation camera, you're with that money you could just invest it towards the NX. Basically, you're paying for another system. Like seriously, you're paying for either PS4, Xbox One, or Wii or whatever. You're paying full
Yeah,
price for
like
another
that.
system.
Yeah, and it's like I already see three on my coffee. No, not three, four on my coffee table. So I'm kind of like. Think I'm good. Then I have like a PS Vita and a 3DS. Actually, I have two 3DSs, but one of them's not working because stupid charging port's broken.
Mm.
But it's like I already have enough.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I just so the good thing about Amazon is that you can just cancel whenever, as long as they don't ship it, and
Oh
they won't
yeah,
charge you. So that's another reason why I pre-ordered from Amazon, just in case I change my mind about it. I can just cancel it at any time.
those restocking fees. Ugh, those are awful.
Yeah.
Because it's like 10% of like what you paid, and it's like 10% of like let's say 500. Maybe that's like $50 or something.
Mm.
you're still out $50, and I don't think anyone wants to be out $50. I
Wait,
think they just want all their money back, because essentially it's just a pre-order.
yeah. So
You should be able to get your money back.
who charges that?
Um, I don't know, but some places might. You'd have to check on their pre-order policy.
Okay.
But like I've seen it with stores though, like
Oh yeah, yeah.
from small businesses to major retailers, you
Mm,
know.
okay. Okay. I know. At some GameStops, if you cancel pre-order, you can't get your money back. You have to. They basically give it to you in like store credit, so you have to put that money towards like a
Uh,
game or something.
I can understand that, but it's also I feel like they should have given people the option to actually have their money back.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I've done it before. I've canceled some things, but most of the time well, I don't pre-order from GameStop anymore. When I used to, I would just put like $5 down, and if I didn't want the game, I would just cancel it and put it towards something else. Yeah.
That's what I always do, because they're like, "Do you want to pay it in full?" And I'm like, "No." Because then, like, I'm gonna forget that I spent this amount of money, and then later gonna be like, "Why don't I have as much money?" Uh, but like, the reason why I do $5 and then I pay the rest it like later if I was pre-ordering GameStop was so that I didn't spend more money, so I'd actually have the money to pay for the game later.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of GameStop, so if you pre-ordered the any PlayStation VR SKU at GameStop in store, you're gonna have to do I think it's $100 minimum deposit. So,
I can see that.
so yeah, so it's not that bad, but just make sure to have the money with you. And I think they're doing like a trade-in promotion. Like if you trade something towards the PlayStation VR, you
Oh,
get something
yeah,
like
you,
some
you
kind
get
of a
store.
percentage back. Yeah.
Yeah, like, cause they're like, "Oh, do you want to trade in your PS4, PS3, all your games?" Like, I get these emails saying, "Oh, you have this amount of games worth it." And I'm like,
Oh yes, I do get
no.
that. Yeah, yeah. And they always put like the rarest games that you have or in front. Like what was it? I think they put like my copy of the last Wii game I bought from them was like Mario 3D Land, 3D World. And if you still trade it in, you get a decent amount because it's a Nintendo game.
Yeah, Nintendo games get like really high
Yeah.
like credit back, but like unless it's new, the game you don't really get much credit back. So at that point, you might as well just sell on Amazon or eBay.
Yeah. See, I just stopped trading in games.
Yeah, I stopped trading games too.
'Cause I'd rather keep the game than just getting like $5 for it or less in some
Yeah.
cases. But yeah. So back to the topic. What was it?
Um. Well, the next topic is about Sony confirms the closure of Evolution Studios.
Okay, so Evolution Studios. That's the developer that worked on. Well, the last game they worked on was Drive Club, and they're known for the MotorStorm series.
Yeah.
Uh,
Basically racing
yeah,
games.
a lot of racing games, and yeah, it's sad that they closed it down. Like it
But I
was
mean
one of
that
their like really good studios that they had.
Yeah, but the thing is, even if you're a good studio, if you're not making money, you can't continue in the industry. Like,
Well,
that's the thing. And I feel like a lot of consumers forget about that is that, you know, this is still entertainment. Sony still needs to make money. Evolution Studios still needs to make money. And if they're not getting profit or revenue, you know, they have to close down. They're just getting negatives.
yeah.
And
So so a lot of people thought this was like inedible because last year um they fired 55 employees. So
ooh,
yeah,
that's a nasty hit.
yeah, and that was like I think that was around a few months after Drive Club came out. So yeah.
I
And we
understand
have to
like
remember that Drive Club was like in development for a long time. It was promised as a launch window title. It got delayed. Then
oh,
then it got delayed again. And by the time that it came out, a lot of people just like didn't really care for it.
yeah, that's what happens when you go in development hell. And yeah, I can see it just going downhill. Like I don't know how many people they had hired in total at the studio, but 55 employees is like a good amount of workforce, even if it's just programmers, you know.
Mm,
So that was yeah, that was a bad sign.
yeah. So Evolution was part of Sony for over 10 years, long time. So and the rest, they're going to try to relocate a lot of the employees to other European develop of their own developers. So that would be like Media Molecule, and I forgot the other name for their other.
Don't Nod.
Yeah,
Don't Nod is the French one.
yeah. So hopefully, those employees that were affected by this hit get relocated somewhere else within Sony.
Yeah, 'cause yeah, at least Sony is doing that versus just telling them to go on their own because like I've talked with people who are students in this industry or some people who are still in this industry and the thing is it's like it's really common to be fired and rehired instead
Hmm.
of hiring people for long term. But if you're say long term like Nintendo, it really does suck because you lose all that job security. You probably had health insurance. That's a big fucking deal. And so you gotta go and find a new job. But if you haven't done job interviews or, update your resume, that's even harder because now you're kind of like left with nothing. You're like, the fuck am I supposed to do?
Hmm.
So it's courteous of Sony to at least kind of try to relocate them to different places.
Yeah. So um, I hopefully some of these people get moved to Polyphony Digital because those are the guys that make Gran Turismo. So you know, and man, Drive Club was like a huge flop for them.
Yeah, but what happens is what happens, and you can blame, say, the programmers, the artists, or something, but if it really comes down to his management, that's where it lies, because they're the leaders of the studio. Like, they keep shit running.
Yeah.
And if they weren't doing it, they weren't doing it. So,
Hmm. Um, but yeah, so this is well, sad news. I think this is the might be the first Sony-owned studio that they've closed since the PlayStation 4 era. Yeah, I think I'm right about that.
I feel like this is just a warning sign to other studios saying, this is what happens when you don't do well, and go do well
Yeah,
for the sake of your future.
Drive Club was um, it was a gamble for them because they were mostly known for like like um what was it, MotorStorm, games like MotorStorm that were more like arcadey than Drive Club, because Drive Club looks well, it looked a lot like Gran Turismo. Um, but yeah, sad news here on the podcast.
But hey, we have a rumor up next. It's the PS4.5.
Mm,
So Sony might be making a next iteration of PS4 that's like, you know how we had the PS3 and then there's the PS3 Slim, which is what I have. It's lighter, it's faster, and it's not quite as expensive to build. Well, that's what the PS4.5 is gonna sound like as an upgraded processor and that sort of thing.
hmm.
I don't have a problem with this. I'm just kind of like I feel like we've barely gone into the PS4 cycle.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, is this really necessary? Cause like we've seen what like the Order has done with graphics, but that was really short, and people were really pissed off about that. So to me, it's like, why don't we just focus on making a like really nice game, like graphics wise, and that makes it as long as say like The Last of Us before we even think about changing hardware again? Because like, what are you gonna tell the people who've already gotten like a PlayStation 4? Like, oh, we made 4.5,
Hmm.
and I dropped something. Good job, me. Either way. So, it's like, do you want to trade in? I'm like, I don't want to trade in. Like, I like it. like I already have like a special like HDD disc cover, or not disc cover, but like drive cover
Mhm.
I got from Japan specifically. And it's like if it's not gonna be the same on the PS4.5, I don't want to change it out.
So there's actually more to this story. According to the Wall Street Journal, Sony is planning to announce this new iteration of the PlayStation 4 in before October, so before the PlayStation VR's launch. Um, and what a lot of people are saying, and a lot of people, according to their sources and everything, that this PlayStation 4 will allow people to play games in 4K. So yeah, so if you're into 4K, or if you have like a 4K TV, this will be perfect for you. Um,
They're all probably also trying to give incentive to those who haven't already purchased a PS4 and need it for the PlayStation VR.
yep. So another thing about the PlayStation VR. So you know how either the HD the Vive relies a lot on the computer. So you have to build like a really powerful computer to use it to its fullest extent. So the extra power that the PlayStation 4 or the new PlayStation 4 will have is going to give enough power to the PlayStation VR to compete with that kind of VR headset.
So doesn't that raise the question of like, can you still play it with the regular PS4?
So according to this Wall Street Journal article, you will be able to play with just the PS4, and that's what Sony keeps telling us. Of course, they haven't announced this yet, but just having a more powerful machine will enable developers to take advantage of that hardware and build like a really good VR game. And if that's the case, I think some of those are just going to be for this new PlayStation 4.
Yeah, because that makes more sense.
Yeah. Um. So let me just read a quote from this article. So this article quotes existing PlayStation 4 owners would need to buy the new model to take full advantage of the enhanced graphics and power. Though it is likely that the current model and the coming one would share the same software catalog. That's when that's what one people said. Yeah, that's a quote. So
Hmm.
so it might turn out that at the end, if you really want to take advantage of the PlayStation VR, you'll have to buy another console. I hope that's not the case,
Yeah. Um,
because it would be like
it's
$1,000 investment.
that's you might as like that's not even that's like not comparable to say the HD like Vive or whatever. Like it's a pricey entry point into virtual reality is what it's becoming.
Hmm. Hmm. Uh, I don't know how Sony is gonna announce this, so that's I'm kind of worried about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because like they said they've put in money into advertising, but then like said advertising has flopped when trying to sell the PS Vita. So I'm just like, I really hope their marketing department is good.
Yeah, and how they're gonna market a new console that's actually different from the current PlayStation 4. Different as the as in power. So this one will be more powerful. Um, and they have to come up with a clever name that way, not too so it won't confuse regular consumers.
Oh yeah,
Just call it
like
the new PlayStation 4. Go
oh
the
god.
Nintendo route. Go the Nintendo route. The new PlayStation 4.
Yeah, because people in the tech department obviously know tech.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh
yeah, I remember
god.
when they called. I don't know if you remember when they called the Apple called like I think it was like the iPad, one of the last iterations of the iPad before the iPad Air. They just called it the new iPad.
Oh, that was so stupid.
Yeah, like the new iPad. Oh, I don't
And now it's like the iPad Pro.
iPad Pro. Yeah.
It's like the new one. I actually saw it on the bus last night.
Yeah.
It's big.
No, then there's a new iPad Pro, like a nine, I think it's 9.7 inch. So the size of a regular iPad. And I think that one's just called the iPad Pro 9.7 inch. So
What is
so
Okay, I think
crazy.
everybody needs a crash course of like how to name things.
Yeah. Um, do you do you think a Sony will? Okay, so if they announce that this PlayStation 4 before October, do you think it will come out this holiday season, or do you think they're gonna hold off on it till like next
Mm,
year, early next year maybe?
no, no, they want to sell this for holiday season. This will like holiday season is where the video game industry makes most of its money
Yeah.
for, the year. So if they really want to make money, if they're like just already selling like regular PS4s, they need to sell this. They need to start selling this before Christmas,
Hmm.
and they need to give the regular PS4 a drop price in like retail price if not used already, and then like start giving bundles to retailers so they can sell this because then you know how Black Friday is and then
Yeah.
Cyber Monday.
Hmm. Um,
They want money.
don't you think it's gonna be a bit confusing just having two PlayStation 4 consoles that are in name the same but in terms of power different?
I think it might be confusing the way unless they like name it properly and market it correctly so that like people know, oh, this is the better version. We should get this. Not like and that the older version can just be for people who can't really afford that extra price.
Yeah. Well, as for me as a regular Sony or PlayStation consumer, that I buy a lot of games from them. I like their hardware and everything. Just seeing or hearing how that new PlayStation 4 will take advantage or give more power to the PlayStation VR. It's that
Well, I
kind of
mean, like,
worries me just because, like I said, it's going to be a bigger investment. Most likely, it's going to be like a thousand, close to $1,000 investment.
if you already have a PS4, so you can like sell it back for used price, and then you can use that money to go
Upgrade.
towards the new one, which is fine.
Mm.
Because you've already invested, you're just like trading it in
Yeah,
versus where someone who hasn't had it before.
yeah. I think the only so when oh never mind. I thought Uncharted was going to come out in November. No, it's coming out in May. I was gonna say that if they could they can bundle Uncharted 4 with the new PlayStation 4 that and in some way enable like 4K gameplay in Uncharted 4. That could be like a good selling point.
Maybe later in a patch, but
Yeah, but that could be a good
like
selling point. Like, hey, here's your new PlayStation 4, and and um and guess what? We have Uncharted 4, and you can play in 4K if you have a 4K television. That's a It's a good message, I think.
mm,
But yeah, we'll see. Um, uh, so I doubt that Sony's going to announce this PlayStation 4 at E3. They're going to focus on PlayStation VR. I think
oh yeah, they are.
it would be. I just hope they don't announce it at E3 though. It's going to be a bad move from them if they announce this PlayStation 4 at E3. Just focus on VR. Focus on the other games like Horizon or The Last Guardian if that's still a thing.
It is still a thing. It's just
A
it's going through
2016
development.
thing might be.
Like it's just like in development hell.
Mm. At this point, I think it'll release like when was it announced? It was announced.
Like 3 years ago for the PS3,
No,
and then
it
like
was announced like not 3 years ago. I've been hearing about this game for a long time. Uh,
it's been at least 3 years.
I think it's been more than 3 years. It's, okay, so it's been in development since 2007. So it release.
Jesus.
I hope they release it for for the 10th anniversary.
They need to release it. God.
Yeah, come on. But yeah, I want to put this question out to our listeners. What do you guys think about this rumor about the new PlayStation 4? Are you excited for it? Are you willing to buy it? Let us know.
And then now we come to our last question, which is, should Sony make another handheld? My opinion, no. You
What?
clearly didn't do well with the PS Vita. You've clearly said that it's dead, just from the way you've dropped all the any first party games, any support for it really, and it's now left to be a JRPG machine to consumers. So I mean Nintendo already has handhelds covered and Sony's dominating consoles. I mean just work with what you're good with, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Okay. I agree to some extent. I would love to see another handheld from them because their hardware is always top notch. The Vita still, I think it's still the most powerful handheld out there. Um, of course, I'm talking about gaming handheld, so that doesn't include phones. Um,
No, not phones.
yeah, so I think it's still impressive if you own a Vita. You like the Vita, at least that's what I. Most of the Vita owners I know love their Vita or like their Vita. They don't hate it. Um, yeah, well, I I hope they release another handheld, but I really doubt it. I think they're out of the handheld game.
Yeah, because right, if they're trying to focus on VR right now, that's where all their effort is going to go to. Because now they're going to take it with PlayStation 4, so
Mhm.
that's where their focus is. I feel like that's clear, and we just need to move on. Nintendo, on the other hand, is trying to do consoles, and I'm at this point I'm kind of questioning it because it's like you're great at handhelds, but for some reason your consoles have been flopping since the GameCube. GameCube was great, and then from there it kind of went downhill. So I don't know what the hell happened.
Well, the Wii isn't really a flop. It's not considered a flop. It's a it's a success for Nintendo for their efforts. It's not considered a flop. But the Wii U, on the other hand, that's a huge
Oh,
flop.
that's a flop.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So after GameCube was a flop, Wii was successful. Wii U
I feel like
flop.
that's interesting because GameCube is one console that is remembered very fondly along with the Nintendo 64.
Mm,
So
in some cases, just because it had Resident Evil 4, some games like Beautiful Joe and other neat games. Um, and for PlayStation, the PSP was. I
that
think it
thing
was.
was
What do you think?
that thing was hacked to death.
Do you think it was a success for them or a flop?
No, it was. I feel like it was a flop because
You
once people
think
knew
it
how
was
to
a flop?
hack into it and use it for emulation,
Okay.
it went downhill from there. Because why would any of the developers be like, "We'll make a game for this"? No, people are gonna emulate it, so we're not gonna make money. What's the point in developing for PlayStation?
Yeah.
Like, as a handheld.
Well, I, I consider PSP kind of successful, but also a flop because let's be honest, at the beginning the PSP was really popular. It sold a lot, had a lot of games on it. Yeah, definitely has more games than the Vita at this point, or at least big games, third party games has more games than the Vita. Um, and towards the end of its life cycle, that's when it went downhill. That's when all the emulation uh, began to well, not take place because it started before, but that's when a lot of
It
people knew
really
how to. Yeah,
ramped up.
yep, that's when that
It
happened.
ramped up, and then Sony has made every attempt to stop any emulation on the PS Vita. The
Yeah,
minute they find it on the internet, any downloads, they
that's
patch
it.
it out. They're like, no.
Yep.
You don't even care if it's not even our games. Even if it's Nintendo stuff.
Yeah.
No.
And then the PSP
They
Go was a flop. That was a huge flop.
Yeah, because all you had to do was, rip the UMDs off the game disc and then just put the ISO onto the Go.
Yeah. Then the Vita came out, like always. Sony over promises stuff that they're gonna support it. It's gonna have a lot of games. It's gonna last forever, or not forever. At least their usual, what they say
Then
for
I
every console, like 10-year life cycle. But that didn't happen. It
and
kind
then
of
they
died
put
down after its second year.
yeah, and then the problem was they put proprietary memory
Oh yeah,
cards, and
yeah, that was a huge mistake.
that that was stupid. Everyone knew that was stupid.
And
And then the proprietary charging cable for the first iteration of PS Vita didn't help either because like now if you try to go to like GameStop or Best Buy, no one has it. They're just
yeah,
like ordering online. And so then like if you really wanted to play a game, you're screwed.
hmm hmm
I know like with the second iteration, like they switched to like a regular like micro USB.
yeah.
Like it but like for if you have one like mine, which is the first generation, you have a proprietary charging cable, you know.
I don't think that's that's not a big of a deal like the memory for the Vita because even now when the Vita is on its last legs, it's still not dead. It's on its last legs. But sooner or later, we're gonna get like a PR email saying, "Oh, we stopped production on the Vita everywhere." That's when it's gonna be dead. But to the point, even now, the Vita memory cards are expensive. They haven't gotten a price drop anywhere. So the
No, like
32
the
gigs
best you
still,
can.
yeah, the 32 gigs still will cost you like $60. Then the if you want to import a 64 gig, that's gonna be like $100 at the very least.
Yeah, like if you're lucky, if you can find one used on Amazon for cheap.
Yeah, that's another thing. I have a 16 gig.
So do I.
That cost me. I think it was on sale. I think I bought it like during Black Friday, so it was like 15, 20. I don't remember, but yeah, I got it pretty cheap. Um, but yeah, I want Sony to make another handheld, but I really doubt that's gonna happen. And yeah, that's all I have to say. I still love my Vita though.
As do I.
Yes, 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 yes. Um, well, let's put this question out there to our listeners as well. Do you want another iteration of a Sony-made handheld? Let us know, and you can either send us a tweet at BlazeGeekTweet or leave a comment on the video, and we'll read your response on here on next week's or the next podcast, not next week's, on episode 3.
Yes.
So, so I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So plugs for this episode, our Patreon page. If you want to support us, go to patreon.com/blazekick. There you can find it, and if you want to pledge some bucks to us, well, we'll be grateful.
Because you get more content at earlier times than,
Yes.
say, the public. And we can also, generally have, like, we can be pumping out more.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're supporting, is you're supporting us as content creators to make content that you want to watch, that you wouldn't watch anywhere else.
Yes, exactly. So, I'm gonna give you a heads up. So if you just pledge $1 this week, you're gonna get the Blaze Cake podcast next week because that's when it'll be up on Tuesday next week. So I think it's the 5th, April 5th. So yeah, and that's the only way you can get the Blaze Cake podcast right now, and at least yeah, forever. We're gonna have a monthly podcast where we can talk about anything really. And yeah, if you're a Patreon, you're gonna have it. You're gonna have access to it, only to you guys. Um,
And then for the PlayStation point, what's going to happen is usually released to the public on Thursday. But if you're a Patreon subscriber, you get it Wednesday.
Wednesday, yes, yes, Wednesday. And then Unleashed, I think it releases on Patreon on Saturday and to the public on Sunday. And there's more stuff to come. Right now we're just focusing on these three podcasts, but eventually when we have more time and we have more support and all that, we'll pump up more content for you guys. Because that's the goal.
Yes.
That's the goal. Just
Yeah,
to create
that's
content
always a goal.
for you guys to enjoy. And you can also visit blazekick.com. We actually have some articles over there, like our own original stuff. Like I wrote a editorial about my biggest concern about PlayStation VR. So you can go read that. I also reviewed Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. And it's spoiler free, so if you haven't seen the movie, you can just check it out and see what I thought about it. And Tyler reviewed The Division, so go check out his review. See if you liked it.
As for me, you'll see my reviews actually the week of April 11th, and that's when I'm gonna have my stuff out. I'm gonna have like multiple articles coming out and that sort of thing.
Cool.
And maybe I'll work on some more videos for the Patreon. We'll see.
Yeah. So we're gonna like I mentioned on the article where I wrote about the Patreon, basically it's now on Patreon. I mentioned that it's gonna take a while to get accustomed to this pace of pumping out content for you guys. So just bear with us. We'll get there eventually.
And hopefully by doing this, we will also get to go to E3 this year, if not next year.
Yes. Or we could also go to like any kind of convention, really.
Anime Expo is actually coming up in July.
Yeah, something like that.
I've not bought a ticket,
Mhm.
but I haven't looked up their press stuff, but we can look it up after this.
Yeah. Or it'd be cool to go to like PAX and do
I
like a
want to go to
meetup.
PAX
That'd be pretty
so
cool.
much.
Yeah. That's another goal. Go to PAX and maybe have a meetup. We can hang out or do stuff like that. But yeah, go check out our YouTube channel. Subscribe there. Leave a comment on our videos. Yeah. Like this podcast will be up there. The first episode of this podcast is already up on YouTube. It will be up on iTunes soon. I have to fix some things. And I'm also going to try to put it on the Google Play Store. So yeah, I won't exclude you Android scrubs anymore. So yeah, I'll figure things out. And lastly, follow us on Twitter. I'm at ArmsMXZ. Kuro.
I'm at demon_sorceress.
And Blazekick is at Blazekick Tweet. Yeah, go follow us. Leave us any feedback on there about the podcast on there or in the video. Any kind of feedback is welcome. Right?
And please subscribe to our YouTube channel because we would also like to do in the future video podcasts.
Oh yeah. That's another thing that I'm looking at. I don't know, Kudo. If did you ever listen to like the first episode of Nintendo Unleashed, like the first 8?
No, I didn't.
So for like the first 8 episodes, I instead of just putting like a static picture as a background for the video, I actually edited everything, put like clips of the stuff that we were talking about. And I was watching some episodes like a couple of days ago, and I think that actually works out. Like just watching the podcast and then watching like clips of the games that we're talking about. So that could be another possibility to bring back. But that
Or
takes
if we
time.
could, record the Skype feeds, that'd be cool too. Because I don't think we'll be at a point in the near future where we can do like a set like Rooster Teeth, where they literally have their people there in Texas. We're
Yeah,
kind of spread out all over through the U.S. and Canada.
yeah.
So unless we would move to Canada because Trump became president, I don't really see it happening anytime soon. Moving's really tiring and expensive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, we're thinking about how to improve our podcast in video form. Hopefully, we'll think of something soon and we'll implement it on our future episodes. But for now, this is it for the PlayStation Point, the PSP. I like that. I like the sound of that, the PSP. Or the PS Point. I don't know how you want to call it. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to this episode of the PlayStation Point. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Thanks, guys.
The PlayStation Point. The PSP. PSP. I was thinking of the what was it? PlayStation Vital.
That
PSB.
doesn't work well.
I know. Like shit. PSB.